If you are in fact fat and you're single, it's your fault. If you're fat and you're single and you're not on a GLP, you haven't got my cookbook, you haven't got a fat burner, you're not going to the gym, you're not doing your cardio, well, who are you to blame? Oh, I blame women for not liking me for my personality? Who cares about your personality if you can't get to the gym? And so shut up and lose some weight.
This is a brain rot special.
Tia Matic cooking in the basement.
What is the most attractive body fat percentage for men? Well, it's certainly not whatever Mr. Mike is. What exactly is the most attractive to women? Well, let's just tell them. As in, women, they don't know what they want. You think this study is actually going to tell us what women they actually want? Oh, hey, you want to be in a study? Do you prefer male A or male B? You really think they're going to be honest? Like, women are going to say they want a dad bod. They don't want a dad bod. Are you kidding me? And so women, they lie. It's kind of like a lawyer, the joke goes. How do you know a woman's lying? Well, her lips are moving. And so when you ask a woman in particular, if it's for a video, and you ask them the question, do you prefer man A or man B? Man A, he's got a nice job, he's a great guy, he doesn't have a body count, or man B just got out of jail. If bro who just got out of jail mogs, they want bro who just got out of jail. And so they don't want the Mr. Nice Guy, they don't want this, they don't want that. Women want what you tell them they want.
Because if you're dieting to super low body fat levels in the hopes of scoring some action, picking up a donut might be wiser instead.
One thing you don't need to be is 5% body fat. Obviously, lean is law, but to a certain point. And of course, it depends on the woman. Like, you realize that everything depends. If you like a gym bunny, girls who have abs, shreds, they compete, they flex, well, obviously, they're more likely going to like you if you have a lot of muscle and if you're very lean. But if you go and approach the average woman, for example, the average woman, do you know it's about 180 pounds? And so the average woman, do you think she wants to have a bro who's shredded? 165 pounds peeled. No, because you're literally smaller than them. And so depending on what you're going for, you have to present what they may want. And so guys, if you want a gym bunny, you gotta have muscles and you gotta have some abs or at least be close to it. But if you're in fact a chubby chaser, you don't need to be lean.
Rather than do they think leaner is always better? Because leaner is better is something that a huge fraction of fitness males think, but that may or may not be the case.
Obviously, it's not always leaner is better. Like, some people prefer Chris Bumstead on stage. Some people prefer him in the off season. Mepstagram, well, she prefers Ramon Dino with a tan on stage at 4% body fat. Now, 2 weeks later, without a proper tan, at 6% body fat, she's like, it's just a Ramon Dino. I ain't interested in that. And so for her, the leaner the better and the darker the better. And so Mr. Mike, he has no chance. He doesn't have a proper tan.
That out. Another thing is, this study tested folks in China, Lithuania, and the United Kingdom.
And so obviously, it also depends on the country you're in. Depending if you're in Canada, United States, Mexico, or if you're in China, people prefer different things. Different countries prefer different skin colors, different heights, different sizes, BBL, no BBL, breast implants, no implants, lips that look like hot dogs, hair extensions. And so depending on where you live, it's also going to affect what they want.
The testing protocol was every rater, male and female, received 15 black and white DEXA body images of real people.
And so you're going to try to tell me you're deciding attractiveness based on a DEXA scan image with the face blurred out? A DEXA scan, like a bunch of colors with a kind of a shape, and say, which of these pixels is the most attractive to you? Now, last I checked, Mr. Mike is the only one interested in ChatGPT. The rest of us like real human beings.
Modern AI is us building God.
What am I supposed to do with this info?
I've had multiple conversations with GPT-4 that brought me to literal tears.
And so you can't show me an image of a scan and ask me which I'm most attracted to. I am not attracted to inanimate objects, unlike Mr. Mike.
So really we're talking about just black and white DEXA images where you can see shape, you can see body fat, like on the periphery, and that's about it.
I mean, remember, Mr. Mike was the man who was attracted to the hoist machine. I can no longer trade the same. We've seen that in a previous video. He literally was sexually attracted to a machine. I forget what that was called.
What kind of machine makes them, the boys, moist?
I mean, like, are you hearing this in real time right now?
The primary outcome measure was attractiveness rated by ranking the cards in a sorting task.
Which card would you want to wank off to the most? I mean, this is ridiculous. You're showing a bunch of cards with some images, some scans, and you're gonna pick which is the most attractive, and this is supposed to tell us which bodies that you want to look like? No, it's not gonna work.
The first one you put down is the most attractive, the second one is the second most attractive, all the way down to where the last one is the least attractive.
None of them are attractive. They're scans. Like, what is going on right now?
Body fat percent showed a peaked relationship with attractiveness, with the middle levels rated the highest.
Of course it's going to be the middle number. Which is more attractive, small, medium, or large? They always pick in the middle. You show 5 different physiques, the least amount of muscle and the most amount of muscle, and somewhere's in the middle, they're going to pick somewhere in the middle. The leanest, the fattest, somewhere's in the middle. You ask women to pick the most attractive man on a basketball team, it's probably not the tallest, it's probably not the shortest, probably somewhere in the middle. And so women, they prefer, I believe it's 6'2" to 6'4". Now, if you're 7'4", yeah, you're still attractive, but you're more at a freak status and you're not ideal. They're thinking, well, you are kind of hot because you're like so tall and rich, but I wish you were only 6'4". The same applies when you have 300 pounds of muscle. Yeah, I kind of cool that you have that much muscle there, Mr. Olympia, but 220 muscle, that's about where I'm at. Or body fat. It's like, bro, I can see the veins in your ass. It's a little much, 3%. Now, off season, you bulked up to 20% because you listened to Mr. Mike. You're a little bit fat for me, but somewhere in the middle, perhaps at 10%. The same applies to men. We like the titties. I'm sorry, we do. Most men, they like some boobs and they like some ass. It's TNA. Now, if you lined up the biggest boobs to the smallest boobs, the A cup to the triple Gs, most men are going to say somewhere in the middle, probably a C or a D cup. They're not going to be, the A is not ideal and neither is the G. It's somewhere in the middle, as well as the derrieres. And so women, they got so much junk in the trunk that when they go to the airport, they're going to the oversized baggage. No one wants that. Now, for Instagram, the freak factor, you're swiping, you're looking, and you're like, yeah, it's interesting as a freak show. It's not something that you want. It's not the woman that you want to wife up. And so if you show the small asses to the biggest asses in the world, again, it's somewhere in the middle. It all applies to this. Everything in life, not too little, not too much, somewhere in the middle.
In this study, 13 to 14% body fat was rated as most attractive by hundreds of college-aged women.
Yeah, hundreds of college-aged women. What percentage of hundreds of college-aged women do you think work out? It's about 25%. And so out of the hundreds of women, 25% go to the gym. And so you get the fat pieces of shit and they're rating body fat percentages, and they're saying 13 to 14%. When you're a 40% obese looking girl, do you really think that they're gonna point at the shredded 8% body fat and say, that is my ideal? They know there's no chance in hell they will ever get a man as lean as Coach Greg, and so they cope. Coach Greg, he's unattractive. He's too lean. I like 20% body fat. I like the dad bod, and the dad bod is Chris Bumstead and Jason Momoa. That is the way it goes. And so, in reality, girls don't know what they want. They explain to the world what they think they can get. It is biased, but what they personally are able to achieve. And so when people, they put you down, most often it's because they can't get what you have. If all women thought they could get a man at single-digit body fat, then that would be more so the ideal. But because they're so fat, they're thinking, yeah, I can't get that. And so the ratings go up. Now, this is the study that I would want to know. All these girls who are at 40% body fat, more, they're morbidly obese, they're out of shape, whatever. get them in shape. Put them on a GLP, like Ozempic or Tirzepatide. Remember, get them to go to Algorex. Get them to take their blood work, purchase the peptides that they need, and drop 50 or 100 pounds. Get them in shape. They've purchased my cookbook. They've hired Coach Greg for their training. And now instead of being 200 plus pounds, they're now a svelte 130. And then ask them their ideal physique. Do you think it's going to change? And so this is a biased study. 13 to 14% body fat, and that's from all women. And trust me, half of those women you don't want. Really? You think you want those girls? They're ugly. And so why do you care about the opinions of girls that you do not want? And so Coach Greg, he's not single. He has obviously Mepsagram. And so if I were single and going for women, I would want lean girls who have muscle. And so why would I care what the average girl actually thinks? The average girl is 180 pounds. Oh, but the average girl wants a man at 13 to 14% body fat. Well, considering I'm below 9, I guess I should eat some donuts. If I gained 10 pounds of fat, I would be more attractive. I could get the girl of my dreams. This is bullshit. Mepsagram wants a tanned, shredded man at 5% body fat. And so some girls, the ones that you want if you work out, probably want leaner. And so don't worry about the study.
So 1.57 seems to be kind of a little bit of a maximum there, where people really prefer a distinct shoulder to waist ratio, but it's not the more the merrier after that.
Yeah, you really think this is true? You think Hussein Farhat would struggle to get girls because his shoulders are too wide and his waist is too small? Oh, poor Hussein. Hussein, you know what? If you just stop working out the delts, stop spasming the laterals, you'll finally get the woman of your dreams and you'll be able to get married. The problem with why you're not married right now is because your shoulder to waist ratio, it's too far off. Does anyone believe this? And so yeah, those fat, ugly college age women who are 200 plus pounds, they didn't like that. They preferred the dad bod. Do you really care? Why is that even relevant? And so the next time they need to do this study, they should only interview attractive women. Hey, you're hot. What do you like? You are ugly. You are not attractive. We don't care what you want. Let's do a study with 100 attractive women who go to the gym and let's see what they want.
Both are important, but leanness is more important.
And so what is in fact important is that you do need wider shoulders than your waist, 1.57 times. And on top of that, you need to be lean. And so lean is still law. Yeah. And so frame mogging, yeah, that's important, having the wide clavicles. But really, there's not much you can do about that aside from spasming the laterals, building your delts. But on top of that, what's more important is that you're lean. And so if you are in fact fat and you're single, it's your fault. If you're fat and you're single and you're not on a GLP, you haven't got my cookbook, you haven't got a fat burner, you're not going to the gym, you're not doing your cardio, well, who are you to blame? Oh, I blame women for not liking me for my personality? Who cares about your personality if you can't get to the gym? And so shut up and lose some weight.
People seem to prefer moderate male fatness.
I like how he says people prefer moderate fatness. 13 to 14% is not moderate fat, it is lean. Do you know what percentage of people are actually at 13% body fat? It's less than 10. Less than 10% of people are that lean. And so to say it's moderate to me means like medium. Medium is like 25%. And so no, people don't prefer moderate amounts of fat. They prefer lean amounts of fat. They just don't prefer ultra lean, extra lean, ridiculously lean, freakishly lean, Tristan Lee lean, stage lean. But they still want you to be lean. They don't want you to have a moderate amount of fat. If you have a moderate amount of fat and you reduce it to a lean amount of fat, you are going to be significantly more attractive.